Hi, good day everyone. So I'm meeting you via this video presentation to just brief you on the change in the entrepreneurship and innovation assignment component element 011. So this 011 was initially a group presentation, and ARU has changed this to be an individual written report. So why this change? So today in this video, I'm going to cover three main things. One is why this change, and also I will brief you on what this assignment is all about and how to get this done. And then some frequently asked questions. Since we have communicated this yesterday, we received several questions. I will be responding to some of those queries to clarify those questions. So why this change? Now this change was actually brought by ARU itself. So ARU Academic Board, which is the highest authoritative body when it comes to academic matters in ARU, decided some weeks back due to the situation in COVID that all ARU examination and presentation assessments will be changed to individual written assignments, written reports. And in line with this change, then we received this communication from ARU just 2 days back. And then we also, once we received the change notification, we actually communicated, raising some of the concerns that we have started this already. But then because of some of the interest that they want to preserve in terms of making sure that all the students have the fairly equal access to internet, and then also to minimize any potential risk of any of ARU student anywhere in the world, in any of the partner universities, being exposed to the threat of this COVID. They just want to change this to a written report. And for me personally, I would have no problem. I would have proceeded with the Zoom presentation or any virtual platform. But once the ARU decided and they say that you had to proceed this way, we don't have a choice, because we as a partner have basically certain limits in this partnership, because the module assessment and moderation of the marks, these are all final decision rests in the hands of ARU. So now we just need to move on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what is this assignment change is all about and how to address this, how do we get this done. So since we received the communication from ARU, what I have done is I have created an update in the Google Drive folder that I have shared earlier in the beginning of the semester. So this entrepreneurship Google Drive folder, I have created a new folder. So related to projects, in the related to projects folder, when you go, there is an additional subfolder created, alternative assignment for group presentation. So when you go here, there are a few files here. So one is, there is this updated module guide, and then some other notes and guidelines that I want you to read and follow. So this is in terms of resource, so you can come here, and all additional other resources which is in the presentation resource folder can still be used as your reference. So now what I'm going to show you is in ARU Canvas. In ARU Canvas, this assignment has also been updated. If you go to the Canvas, if you log in, you can see the 011. Previously, it was a group presentation, and which has now been changed to an individual written report. And it is the same task. Actually, it is the same task, same question, and the marking criteria, everything remains same. Only the format is changing. The format from being a group presentation to an individual report. So basically, those who have already done their group presentation slide can just simply convert that slide into a Microsoft Word. The group members, everyone can take the same slide content and then just produce an individual report. And what you need to, every member in the group can do is just add some little bit of explanation for each of the pointers in the slide content which you have produced. Now, to get you on board and to get you started with this, what I have done is I have shared this with you, this material yesterday via email. So what I have shared with you is this file is also in the email attachment which you received yesterday. So that is the suggested content for the suggested content. So the suggested content which I have communicated yesterday via email is this one which you see on the screen now. So this is exactly the same task but in a different format. So this The word limit for this is 2000 word maximum. So you can go below this as well. So actually from 1000 to 2000 word report you can get can be produced for this particular assignment, because we understand in this situation uh, it is difficult to really write a lot, because we are in a situation where there's a lot of mental stress and things like that. So just get the slide content and add little bit of detail. 1000 to 2000 words will be sufficient. And if anyone really wants to write and then exceed a little bit, again it is tolerated as well. So let's say we go plus minus 10%. So 1000 to on top of 2000, a little bit extra also can. So the word limit is this 2000 is indicative. So if you have the capacity and time to write more, it's up to the student. But even with 1000 or 1500, 2000, you can actually address this assignment to the expectation of the assignment brief. So if you read this, it is a report now on the same topic, the assessment of an actual entrepreneur in terms of entrepreneurial traits and also on the level of creativity and ability to handle innovation. So the suggested content which I have shared yesterday and which you can see on the screen now actually divides the report into 4 sections. And if you look at these sections, is exactly the same thing that I have even shared for the group presentation. The content and outline remains the same. Only one sequence is changed, which is item number 2, the critical review of model I have placed as a second one. So in the introductory part, what you need to do is there are 3 basic things you need to do. One is at the start, you just give an overview. So in the overview, just provide a definition of some of the key concepts in this particular report. So which is entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial traits, creativity and innovation. So these are the key aspects that you need to define. And after that, the second item in introduction is to give a background of the selected entrepreneur. Now this selected entrepreneur is the entrepreneur that the group has already obtained approval from me. So every member in the group, when they write this individually, also proceed with the same person, give his a background of his entrepreneurial journey, and then why you have chosen this particular person. So this briefly you mention. And then the purpose of the report. The purpose of the report actually is 3 purposes, and which is I'm taking directly from the module, the assignment brief. There are 3 things. One is to review the models or theories on entrepreneurial traits, creativity, and innovation. This is one. And then to carry out an assessment of entrepreneurial traits of the selected entrepreneur, and then carry out an assessment of level of creativity and ability to handle innovation. So these 3 basic purposes, objectives are the objectives of this report, and this can be common. This is quite straightforward. Now, when we move on to the second section, so in the second section, we have to review the models, or the theories or paradigms that you want to use for the assessment. So in here, in this review part, this section we are dividing into 2. So one is, first you review entrepreneurial traits models or theories. So here, for this particular section 2.1, at least one model is enough. So if you use one model, will be enough. And this model can be anything from, for example, Bossy DNA model, Big 5, or MBTI, or any other model which you find in the literature can be fine. So what you need to do here is identify the model and explain the model. What is this model is all about? What are the elements of it? And then discuss also some strengths and weaknesses of the model. So whatever model you select. And then in 2.2, the same thing. So get a model for innovation and creativity. And there are choices like a 4-action framework, Amibel model, Peter Drucker sources of innovation. And there are some others also which you find in literature. So any model which is found in the literature will be fine. So you just explain the model. One model is the minimum requirement. If you have time, you want to do more, I'm fine. But at least get one for each of the section 2.1 and 2.1 for each will do. So explain the model and discuss the strengths and weakness of the model. So once you have done this, then you go to the section 3 where you do the actual assessment. So using the model that you have reviewed in section 2, you are going to do the assessment. For 3.1, for the assessment of entrepreneurial traits. So if let's say you use Bossy, now you do the assessment on Bossy DNA, the four quadrants or 4 different DNAs. How do you rate? How do you assess? How do you evaluate the person? And then provide justification for why a particular justification is given. So explain some reasons why you have given a particular rating. Or for example, if you are using Big 5. So in Big 5 model, the Big 5 model, we see there are 5 elements. So one is openness, and then there is this conscientiousness, and so there are 5 things. So let's say you rated this particular entrepreneur from 1 to 5 scale, you rated him at 6 for openness. So you provide why you rated him so which you have already also included even in the slide. So you are going to explain even if in the slide it was done. So just complete the sentences there and provide that explanation therefore, and provide some facts from the person's entrepreneurial experience, traits, those that support this particular assessment you have done. Similarly for 3.2, whatever model you have used, just do that assessment. So do the assessment and then justify in this section. So if you use 4-action framework, using 4-action framework, evaluate, do your evaluation, make an assessment, how he has done, how well he does, for example, elimination, how well he does, for example, raising. So these are certain actions in the 4-action framework. So use the model and do that assessment. And then the last section is the conclusion, where you just summarize what are the key things that you have learned from the review and also from the assessment. And 4.2, based on the learnings and the review that you have done for this particular assignment, what are the recommendations for aspiring entrepreneurs that we can do in order to develop our entrepreneurial skills, entrepreneurial mindset, entrepreneurial capacity? So what learnings that we got from this person? So what is your recommendation for those people who are aspiring to develop this skill? So this is basically, and then this is the assignment is all about. So now I will address some of the frequently asked questions about this assignment. So one of the frequently asked question is on the submission date. Submission date, as in the updated module guide, which I have updated in the Google Drive folder, the assignment submission date is 30th May. 30th May. 30th May. So 30th May is the assignment submission date. And the other frequently asked question is, since you are using the slide content, which is common and the same person, so how about the similarity? So whatever portion which is coming similar due to the slide content and fact that it is being the same entrepreneur, the basic content similarity we will tolerate. So even if it is high percentage, we will tolerate as long as the content is same due to the fact it is being same in the group presentation and it is some of the facts which is very basic and general about that entrepreneur. So we will tolerate the similarity. And the next frequently asked question is on the word limit, again, which I have already briefly highlighted. So you can actually go as low as 1,000 to 2,000 is a maximum given, and a little bit of extra if in case you need it is also allowed. So these are some of the frequently asked questions and important ones. So basic, what we need to really think is, now I know this change is coming at this stage, and the reason I explained earlier also, and which is ARU wants to actually seriously protect any potential risk, because you say when it is in a presentation, even if by mistake, let's say, because students, we cannot underestimate, in those parts of some parts of both, they might, tend to, for example, have a physical meeting while the lockdown is up. So they don't want to risk and take any risk. But I know the matured students will have no problem. But we really just need to take this positively and then move on and then get this assignment done. And we will be actually available for answering your queries. So what you see, the person which is live with me on the other side, is actually the other lecturer who is teaching the same module for our full-time MBA. So he's also there, he will be there. I will be adding him to the groups as well. So both of us will be there available to answer your questions. And myself, I will be also coming to arrange some Zoom sessions based on your availability in the coming days. So I hope this video has given you some kind of a brief understanding on how this assignment can be done. So I just wish you all the best, and I hope you remain safe and healthy. So please take care of yourself, your family, and everyone, all your loved ones. So, so let me ask my colleague on the other side if he has any particular thing which he would like to add, which I probably missed out, or the detail which I missed out to give. Siva, anything you would like to add?
No, doctor, everything is perfect. If they can follow the suggested outline, that will be a very perfect choice. They know how to make up the words, because students are facing issues how to make up the words, and it's very clearly explained how to bring up the word count. And also you gave the thing that it's 2000 means you don't have to be exactly to be 2000.
Yeah.
A threshold can be even accepted. So I think it's very, very clear. So now they can follow the suggested outline and they can go ahead.
Yeah. So I hope that this video helps them. So let me briefly again just summarize again, briefly recap what we did. So basically the content, as you can see, there are four major main sections. One is introduction, and then the second is review of the models, paradigms or theories, and then three is assessment of actual entrepreneur, and conclusion the last. So in the introduction, the students need to provide an overview. In overview, you just provide the basic definitions of the key concepts. And then 1.2, you provide the background of the selected entrepreneur with the rationale for the choice. So here you just explain the entrepreneurial journey of the entrepreneur and give a reason why you selected this person. And 1.3 is where you provide the objectives of this report. There are three key objectives which I have already stated and which can be exactly the same. Or if you really want to paraphrase those things, is perfectly fine as long as they provide the same meaning. And when we move on to section 2, the review of the models, theories, or paradigms. So here I am dividing this section into two subsection again. So 2.1, review of entrepreneurial traits, models, the theory, the traits, models, the theories. So here the requirement is use at least one, but if you have time and you want to use two, up to you. So, and the choices, for example, BOSI DNA model, Big Five, MBTI, and any other model which you find in the literature, and there are several other models which you can find in the literature. So but it's your choice, just whatever you use, just use it. Explain the model, what is the model, what are the elements of it, and discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the model. And such similar approach for 2.2 where you identify creativity or innovation model, at least one. And the choices like coaction framework, MBA model of creativity, Peter Drucker sources of innovation. These are good choices. So explain whatever model you choose, explain, discuss the strengths and weaknesses, and then this section is done. And then you move on to section 3 where you do the actual assessment. So this is your evaluation based on the model. So here again, I'm dividing into two sections. One is two subsections. So 3.1 where you do the traits, entrepreneurial traits assessment based on whatever model you use, do the evaluation, UI assessment, and then provide justification. And 3.2 is assessment of level of creativity and ability to handle innovation. Again, using the model that you reviewed into section 2, do the assessment. So on the model, how do you rate? How do you rate this person, and why do you give a particular rating and provide some justification? And then lastly, the conclusion where you summarize your main learnings from your review and assessment, and based on what you learn from this person and your assessment, what is your recommendation for those who are aspiring to become entrepreneurs, who want to develop the entrepreneurial skill, entrepreneurial mindset, and to prepare to take an entrepreneurial journey? And then then you provide some basic references. So this was another question that you may have. So how much of references? What is the maximum or minimum references? Basically, there is no maximum minimum referencing. The idea is some fundamental referencing should be done. For example, when you use a model, so the model should be cited to its original author who actually developed that model. And then when you are also talking about any specific fact about entrepreneur, like for example, let's say you are doing this on Tony Fernandez, and you want to talk about his entrepreneurial journey in the introduction, and you are saying he started his entrepreneurial journey in music. So Warner music for it. These are facts. So you may need to cite where you pick that, or you, for example, you are citing this entrepreneur's network. These are facts. So you may need to simply cite the facts and the theoretical model. So some basic citations is needed. And I'm very sure with the support that we are ready to give, you will be able to get this done timely. And as the due date has been set reasonably quite a stretch date, like 30th of May for our students. So I hope we get this done. So it is challenging, but I know with your very strong capabilities, which we always believe, we have very strong faith in our students, and we really have strong faith in your motivation and your drive. I know There are a lot of challenges working from home. Also, some of you are in essential services, you are working day and night, and some of you may be in the medical profession and they are even more busier. So just we would really support, maximum. And you can, myself is available for having a conversation one-on-one. If you really need, just let me know when you want to have it, and I will be able to have it individually on one-on-one session. And even my other colleagues will be available, because I have done this briefing to them, and my colleague on the other side of this video, he's also available. I will put his contact and himself inside all the WhatsApp groups that we have. So we stay in touch and get this done. So I wish you all the best again, and then stay safe. So take care of your families, take care of your safety, and this situation, hope with the grace of uh, the spring power, we will be able to get out of the situation in a timely manner. Thank you so much.